Welcome to Inside City Hall. I'm your host, Mayor Darrell Seymore, and today on our show we have Jimmie Applegate from the Show Low Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Jimmie.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Mayor.
Great, glad to have you today.
Yeah.
So what's going on at the Chamber? What's rocking and rolling?
We're busy. This is the busy month for us. It seems like that there's a lot of slow things going on, but this is the month the Chamber sets up all the activities for the year. So we've already started Show Low Days meetings and Derby Down the Deuce meetings, and of course working on our annual meeting, our annual banquet that we have every year, and so we're running fast around the Chamber right now.
That's fantastic. I mean, you guys have, definitely made a bigger presence on the Deuce and different things with some of the changes you've done. You've just recently, well, maybe not recently, but you've remodeled this year, and man, it made a huge difference. If you haven't been in the Chamber, you need to stop by.
It's pretty,
and take a look.
I think the building was used smartly for the many years that we've had it, but I think it just got time to, let's turn it into something that looks like the White Mountains, it looks like Show Low, and so we took some walls down and put some walls up, a new floor, and new paint, and new everything. So opened it way up. We really opened it up so there's more space for the brochures and pamphlets that we have for the TIC, and so it works really good. It's a good format right now. So
the Chamber is mostly to promote businesses, promote community things that we have involved, and you guys do a great job with that. But also with the city share, we donate money or we have a partnership with the city that you, in exchange for that, you take care of our tourist information. So kind of share a little bit what that entails for what you do.
So each of the chambers in the area, matter of fact, all the chambers in the area are kind of configured a little bit differently. In the city of Show Low, we're a chamber of commerce on one side, but we also have the Tourist Information Center. As an incorporated city, each city in the state is required to have a Tourist Information Center. And so the city of Show Low contracts or works with the Chamber of Commerce, and we provide that Tourist Information Center within the Chamber of Commerce, which works very well for our area because they're so interrelated, and the tourists come up for the businesses anyway, and so it just makes sense to have those put together in our chamber. And so the primary thing that we do in working with the city is we receive the tourists that come into the town, whether it's from Canada, Paris, or Phoenix, and direct them on where to go eat and where to go sleep and what businesses that they can get whatever they're looking for in, and mostly what activities there are to do. That's a big question. We're here for the weekend, and what is there to do? Right.
So most of the people that are stopping by the so-called Chamber or Tourist Information Center are usually tourists looking for things to do, not so much business people coming in to say, that side of it. So what is the average, or it varies every month, but last year, ballpark, how many visitors did maybe we have through the Chamber?
A couple thousand people run through that building every year, and it's good to receive them. But and they run. We separate the people that come in. We ask them to sign in, and most of them do. And we can kind of tell where they're coming from, the local area, if they're coming from just within the state, outside of the state, or even outside of the country. So we provide those stats back to the city. And
it's neat to see some of the data that you have, that we have people coming from all over the nation, over in several different countries, and it's kind of fun to see at the end of the year how many different countries were represented coming to Show Low, Arizona.
Canada is a big one, especially for the northeastern part of the state of Arizona. It's big in Flagstaff, is my understanding but we have a large population. You would be amazed how many people show up in one day from Canada that show up to the Chamber. And we talk to every single one of them and welcome them into the area, but just to hear their story and where they're from, and it's interesting. But anyway.
A lot of times if there's activities that are going on, either at the school or maybe sometimes there's some plays, or we'll say, hey, you can get your tickets at City Hall, or you can pick them up at the Chamber.
At the Chamber.
And so you guys provide a service that way as well.
So many, and that's a great service for the community because everybody knows where the Chamber of Commerce is, and so anytime there's an event going on, like you said, school, or many of the nonprofit organizations have events throughout the year. There are fundraising campaigns that they do, and we'll assist them by having the tickets at the Chamber of Commerce. So come in and get them, and we just track that for them. It's an easy.
Now your chamber is organized, you're the chamber, your position, and then you have a board of directors that kind of directs you, kind of share how that goes on, and then you also have some other people.
I tell the board exactly what I need them to know. No. So there's a board. Any nonprofit, but specifically a Chamber of Commerce, is managed by an executive director or the chamber manager. That's myself. And I'm employed by and answer to a board of directors. So we have a president and vice president and an entire committee of folks that help out do that. But the committee is an integral part. The board of directors is an integral part of what the chamber does. Meet with them on a regular basis, and this week we met as an executive session with the executive board to make big decisions, and they assist. Really, one of their big functions, of course, is to make sure the chamber's doing what we're supposed to be doing, fulfilling our commitments with the city and the Tourist Information Center, and of course fulfilling our obligations to the members of the Chamber of Commerce, which are the local businesses in the area, and to make sure that we're fiscally sound. But the board is also really integrally important for helping with putting on the events of the year.
Right.
They jump in and help us. It takes more than 10 people to put on a major event. Sholo Days, for instance, that takes the entire committee and then some to come to the table and help out. So
right.
they're really big
and
part
what
of
you
that.
find is your board of directors, how many do you have right now on the board? Is there
14.
14?
Yeah.
And so through that, you don't always, the president is there for 1 or 2 years, that's rotating.
That's right.
Secretaries, your vice, chairs, different things. It isn't one person gets that position and
Yeah.
stays. It's kind of an evolving
It's
board
always
of
revolving.
different businesses in the community.
Yeah, our bylaws state that we can have between 9 and 14 members of our board, and we stagger how they go on and off the board, so it's always fresh. And then you're right, an executive board is made up of a past president, the current president, a secretary treasurer, and then a member at large, and myself. And so that rotates every single year. And it's intended so that they'll move up from secretary treasurer, and then the following year they'll be in the position of a vice president, and then from there they'll be in the position of the president.
So is there any need for volunteers to help in the office and things like that?
You bet. Okay. That's a great question. Thank you for leading into that, Mayor. One of the biggest things that happen within the Chamber of Commerce is what I stated earlier. That's really just receiving tourists into the area, welcoming them and showing a friendly smile and directing them in all the things that's going on. A majority of that is run by people that are volunteering, and so retired folks and folks that just have some spare time come in. We do it really easy. It's a Monday through Friday. We split the day in half, and volunteers can come in and say, I want to work half a day on Friday, and they sign up and they come in half a day on Friday. So they get to pick
That's great.
what time they want to do and what days, and most of them will come in on a consistent basis. And so I know every Monday this lady's going to come in, and every Tuesday that guy in the afternoon is going to come in, and they help out. So
that's a need. So if they can just stop by there. If
Stop
they
by
have
the
some
chamber,
extra days
call the
and,
chamber.
and see if they want to get involved.
You bet.
And then when you have these different events, there's always legwork that can be done.
Oh, yeah.
And people can help with
You know
that
that.
as well. So
Yeah.
it's all part of that. That's fantastic.
there really is.
So at the end of the year, you guys normally work through the year. You kind of recognize different businesses in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You have an awards event that you have, and that's coming
do.
up in a couple of weeks.
It's coming up on February 24th.
February 24th, and you're moving your venue this year
Over.
from Lacano's over to
To the Elks Lodge.
the Elks Lodge.
That's
okay?
the first time we've
Gonna be
been there. And we're excited to team up with the Elks to be able to put it there. It's a much bigger space, and we're able to do a couple things there that we weren't at Lacano. So we'll probably kind of go back and forth every other year or something like that. But right now we're at the Elks Lodge, so we're excited to be there. But
That's awesome.
it's a completely new, it's a new venue, but it's a completely new meeting. And you've been to the ones in the past, Mayor, for sure, and you recognize that's the meeting where we recognize businesses of the year, large and small. We recognize chamber members of the year. We swear on our board that night. One of the judges will come on out, and the entire board will stand up and say, we promise to do what Jimmie says. They don't say that.
I think that's in the bylaws somewhere, isn't it? There that
I wish it was.
They're trying to do that
No.
a few times there, and and there have been different managers. Different. It kind of gets a feel for different people of how they like to do things, and it is activities that make a difference. And
Yeah.
Also playing. So, what are the other things that you do? I know you have. This is big. It's not just a meeting. You're also gonna. I guess this year you got some trivia games coming out
Yeah,
or
so
something. Trivia show.
let me talk to you
and
about that.
Some different stuff that can happen.
So what's different about this meeting this year? And we're kind of just taking that really meeting part of the meeting and just putting it here and we figured this year we would just have fun. We're just gonna make it a fundraiser for the chamber. The chamber does multiple fundraisers throughout the year, and that's one of the ways that we stay alive is through fundraising. But we're just going to make it a fundraising meeting and have fun. So there's two main things. We're doing a Taste of the White Mountains kind of contest. So we'll have 8 to 10 eateries, chefs come in, and they'll provide hors d'oeuvres, finger food for the entire crowd. And then we'll have a contest out of that. Every patron that comes in gets one vote, and after you've tasted everybody, you know, I think this guy should win, and we'll tally up the votes in the end, and they'll get a top dog, you know, Taste of the White Mountains prize, and that'll be cool. But the main thing is the trivia game. So we invented a game show.
All right.
Called Knock Out the Game Show. And it's a trivia game. So we've taken all the trivia questions from local businesses. I found a trivia question the other day that had your name attached to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
I didn't know, it was interesting. That'll all be trivia questions for local businesses, the local area, the White Mountains, and mostly just Show Low. And so it'll be fun. We'll pit people against each other and to answer trivia questions. As they get questions right, they'll earn points. As they get questions wrong, they'll lose points, and then we'll have winners, and we'll give them wacky prizes.
That's great. Now you have Show Low Days in addition to that thing that you have. When Show Low Day is going to happen this year?
Always first weekend in June, first full Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in June. So this year it's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June. And we're already we sent out in January the first batch of applications for vendors, and we've already got a truckload in. So being now, the 15th, 16th year of Show Low.
16th year of Show Low Days.
You know, vendors are like, oh, got to do that. It's the biggest event I think we have in the city each year. And so they don't want to miss out on that. But it's a fun weekend. It's, you know, action-packed. So.
Right, that's fantastic. What, anything else exciting?
I got to tell you about the Derby.
Okay.
Got to tell you about the Derby. So, you know, matter of fact, you guys don't know, this came out of the mayor's mind, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
we had a big meeting about what can we do to make Show Low Days bigger and bring more people in, and everybody around the table had questions or had answers and comments, and you said, let's do a soapbox derby. And I was dumb enough, I was in that meeting, to say, if you guys do that, I'll head that committee up. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And sure shooting, the chamber decided to do it, and so we called it the Derby Down the Deuce, and we threw the soapbox derby rules out the window, and I think we came up with something that was cool. But this year is our 7th year of the soapbox of the Derby Down the Deuce, and last year something really interesting happened. The winner of the first place prize asked us if he could take his winnings and contribute them or donate them back into the kitty for 2018, for this year. And then we went to our first place prize donor and said, will you match his funds? And he said yes. So we started out 7 years ago, and the first place was $1,000. And then it went to $1,200 and $1,500 after that. Last year, the winnings were $2,500 for first place. And then this year, it's $5,000
first place.
For first place.
So that's why you guys take so long to get down there. Everything's got to be just right.
Oh, yeah. If you messed that up, someone's going to tell you messed it up for sure.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, I just get involved. The chamber's great. You know, things that we have going on in our community, and we just appreciate you and what you do and what you bring to the community,
Mary.
Jimmie.
Hey, I appreciate the relationship with the city and yourself, and it's great to work with them together. So
thanks for being here today.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
Stay tuned for the next segment of Inside City Hall, where we'll be talking with our local public library people. Thank you. Welcome back to Inside City Hall. We now have Lisa Lewis, the director of our Show Low Public Library. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. So you've been reading a book or two?
Every chance I get.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, it's really exciting, some of the things that you guys have done in the library. There's just, going back from Christmas, we had a lot of big reviews of the people, you know, Chief came in and they did the readings, and we had a lot of good reviews from that, as well as just having a library in our community is fantastic, but I think you've really taken some of the activities to another level, and you know, there's just some fun things that are happening. Why don't you kind of share with us what you have going on a little bit on the horizon, and some new things that we have to unveil a little bit here going forward.
Well, we have received some grant funding recently that's going to allow us to start a robotics club. which we're very excited about that. That's about $10,000 total for that grant, and so that's for ages 8 to 13. We had 2 parent meetings, got quite a bit of interest. We're going to have 16 kids that can participate in the first session of that, and so that's going to start in February. So that's upcoming.
Now, what will that actually do for those 16 children, or what does it all entail?
It's going to start off with building virtual robots with the program, the software program, and then they're going to learn a little bit more of how robots work, programming, coding that goes along with that, and then eventually they will be building robots in teams and then competing.
Okay.
So we do have a White Mountain Robotics Club up here that competes regularly, and our goal is to get this group to be able to compete with that.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that was funded just through a grant?
It was through 2 different grants, yes,
That's
that
great.
we got that.
Okay, what else?
We have our interactive playground that is almost completed out there in front. People have noticed it, been wanting to go in and play with it. That is not your normal playground. It doesn't have slides or swings or anything like that. It's all interactive, that the kids can use their senses to discover different things, and it's an extension of our Storytime program.
Okay.
So there's musical instruments, there is a climbing structure that also has a safe place where the kids can go crawl inside if they need to kind of get away from the noise or the distractions. And then there's some interactive panels where they can make patterns and play some games, use their imagination. So we're excited about that, and we're hoping that in the next 2 weeks or so we'll have that ribbon cutting for that.
That's great. Now, did the funds for that come from a grant too?
That came through the Friends of the Library. I applied for a grant with their 501(c), and it was the Fiesta Bowl Charities grant that we received, and that was for $15,000.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
you know,
we're
right
excited
there
about
you've
that.
got $25,000 in just those 2 grants that
Right.
can apply to what we have going on to help educate our children.
Yep, we're excited
That's
about
great.
that. And we have a makerspace that we're working on right now, and that's been a trend that you've seen public libraries getting involved in now. And so our makerspace is going to be called the Creation Station, and each different station will have an opportunity for someone to create something. And so we have an embroidery machine that's coming. We have jewelry making items that we're going to be putting in there. We have some crochet and knitting classes that will be happening, as well as Microsoft Surface Pros for animation for our teams. And so that's going to be started hopefully in April. We're working on getting all of that together. We have several volunteers that are going to come in and kind of help us teach some of those classes.
Now, how this kind of works, as people learn these new skills and new things here, obviously you're not competing with the businesses, but then pretty soon we start seeing businesses pop up that have to have those products for
Right.
people to be able to go out and purchase,
Right.
and it becomes, I know our art store that we have in our community has just recently added and some different things that start happening. So it's great through, learning, and it kind of helps
It is.
everybody in the community get a little bit better at
Right,
things.
I think so, and we try to buy as local as we can with some of these supplies that we're going to be putting in our makerspace.
Now, when are you going to be doing the makerspace on donuts and Frosty, so I can
That
learn how
would
to
be
make
wonderful, wouldn't that?
one of those really good? As
That would be
treats.
wonderful if we could do something like that.
I think you do it and bring it to council night or something.
That would be
where we
great.
could have it. So, tell me a little bit about how many patrons you have that come to the library, use the library, the how it's working out. I know, is it working? You made some changes. We tried to have a little bit of a restaurant, but we changed that. What are you doing to utilize the space or create more space, or just make it work for you?
Well, we have, during the winter months, our numbers aren't quite as high as they are during the summer, but we're still averaging about 600 people a day that come into the library. And with our programs, they're being very well attended, so that's bringing them in for the programs, and then they get to see inside the library and see what we have, so then they come back during the day as well. The cafe space, we're still trying to see if we can't get a vendor in there. That's what the library was, or that space was made, was for that idea. And currently we're using it probably the best way we can, which is kind of storage, because we need areas for storage, and so that's kind of what we've been using the area for. Not in the front, but in the back area is where we've been putting things at. So we've tried to create more space by opening up some of our event room area, kind of getting rid of the clutter and just making more wide open spaces so that there's more room to do activities, and we've been very successful with that.
Now, how many people actually work at the library, and the hours that the library's open, things like that?
Okay, including myself, there are 13 staff members there. We have 4 full-time and all the rest are part-time. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we're open from 9 to 6. On Wednesdays, we're open from 9 to 4, and on Saturday from 10 to 5.
Okay.
So, and closed on Sunday.
Now, do you have a computer, and or do you have Wi-Fi at the library?
We have free
things like
Wi-Fi.
that?
Anybody can come in and access the Wi-Fi. We do have a filtering system in place, which is required when you get federal funding. So we have that in place, which also impacts anyone that has a device. So they have to download a security certificate, and then they're able to get on the Wi-Fi without any problem. We have a lab that has 16 computers in the lab, and then we have another 18 out in the public area. So lots of computers for people to come in and use, and they're busy all the time. They're
That's
always
great.
used.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what are some of your other events you have maybe going on this summer that you're looking forward to? And some
We
of the
always have
things that
summer
way?
reading. Summer reading is coming up, and we're already planning for summer reading because it's a major deal for June and July. And so we've got the activities going on for that. The theme this year is Libraries Rock, and so it's got a musical theme to it, and we're excited about that. We already have some events planned, some activities that go around music. We also have a new program that just started as well that's kind of in that same theme, which is called Mommy and Me Music Class. And we have a volunteer that's coming in and teaching that for us. We have a possible entertainer that could be coming from Australia. We're looking into that as well to go with that music part of it. And then we'll have also more NASA events for the NASA at My Library grant that we received. And so we'll be doing several of those as well during the summer. We're going to be busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like. Do you have any new grants that you're applying for, or do you have in the?
I
the
just
works
applied
right now?
for, well, I just wrote my 4th one yesterday and got it off and submitted. 2 of which are for summer reading funds so that we can enhance our program. There is one that I just wrote called the Founding Era Grant, which I'm excited about that one. That's just going to bring some information and history into our community that's talking about what happened during that revolutionary period and our founding fathers, and kind of reliving some of that history and knowing more about that. So I'm excited to see if we get that one. That one would be really fun to do. And then there's 2 that I'm in the process right now through the Arizona State Library. One is to redo our complete homeschool selection because it's outdated and it needs to be more current and relevant. And the other one is, I'm going to kind of keep that one a surprise. I'm working on that one, and we'll see what happens with that one. Because if we don't get it, then nobody knows. And
If we
if
do,
we get it, it'll
it'll
be
be a surprise,
exciting.
right?
That's right.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, we sure appreciate what you do. It sounds like, you've got a lot of stuff going on in the library. It's a great education place. It's great for our community. And, library's been around how long now? I'm trying to think.
Well, we were going to celebrate 85 years this year.
There, in that
It's
way.
been around for 85
But
years.
this particular building, I think, was
7 years
7
now, I
years
believe.
there.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful building.
85 years of progressing, and everybody thought books would go away.
No,
But,
no.
when you have 600 people almost on an average day coming through, it's one of the hot spots in Show Low.
It is.
And, of course, we've got a fireplace there. And it's
Yes,
just
we
nice
do.
At time you can, the setting of this library and what it entails and where it's at, it's just easy to get to, and it's just a really great place to be and be part of.
It is, and we hear a lot of compliments and positive things all of the time in the library. And so we want to keep continuing to do these programs and finding out what our community needs and help to provide those needs.
That's
That's
great.
our goal.
Anything else you want to talk about today?
I don't believe so. I think we're good.
All right, Lisa. Well, thank you so much for what you do and what your staff does. We really appreciate the way that you have taken the library and really taken it personal and made it the best it can be.
I love it. Thank
Thanks
you
so
very
much.
much.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you for joining us on Inside City Hall today. We hope you have a great day. Thank you.